Hi there, warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Meghna Deka. Now viewers, Tirupati, it is not just a shrine. It is the spiritual heartbeat of millions. Every stone of the 7 hills is held sacred. Every acre is an offering of faith. Guarding Tirumala's sanctity is like guarding the trust of devotees across the entire world. This temple is dedicated to Lord Venkateshwara, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu and is one of the most visited and one of the richest temples, not just in India, but across the world. In this abode of Lord, everyone's equal. The biggest of stars have bowed their heads before the sanctity of this Devi. It is the faith that brings them to this temple. But today, politics has erupted over the transfer of sacred land to the state's tourism department, who has then handed it over for a 5-star hotel. It is a YSRCP versus TDP, war of words over Tirupati, that we are going to be discussing. It all started with the former chairperson of TDP, Tirupati, which is of course the Tirupati Devasthanam, one of the former chairperson, Karunakar Reddy. He has slammed the land exchange. He has called it a grave injustice, saying that this is a conspiracy which has been hatched by Chandrababu Naidu, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. In fact, the ruling TDP has hit back at this man, saying that it's a false propaganda. Interestingly, the complainant is also a YSRCP leader. He is also the president of YSRCP's Chittoor district president. The TDP board members, remember, are handpicked by the state. So why is a former TDP board member, a chairperson, coming out now and alleging that there is a conspiracy by Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu? Well, make a note of this point, that they are all state appointees. Every one of the board members of this temple trust are appointed by the state. It'll help you understand the chronology and the motivations a bit better. But before I get into the charges, the counter charges which have been flying thick and fast, let me explain to you the chronology. So it all started in November 2021. This is when this, remember, was under Jagan Mohan Reddy. You had the government allotting 20 acres of land to the Oberoi hotels. In 2021 to 2024, there were several protests which had happened. Devotees were coming out protesting against the allotment. They said that why is meat serving hotels being allowed to come out in this entire Tirumala temple area, the entire Tirumala Hill area, which is sacred to all of us. There were several such protests. Then under Jagan Reddy, this had happened. By November 2024, remember, Jagan Mohan Reddy lost the elections. You had Chandrababu Naidu, who had come in by May 2024. By November 2024, the TTD board had passed a resolution. They demanded the return of the land, saying that we want this land back to us. And they demanded this of Chief Minister Naidu. Chief Minister Naidu himself had in fact visited Tirupati, and then he said that I'll ensure that nothing is going to besmirch the sanctity of the Tirumala Hills. By March 2025, the state agreed to return this land on the north side of the temple to the TTD trust. The land on the south, it was a swap which was made. The government said, we'll return this land to you, but in lieu of that, to swap it with, give us the land which is there on the south, to which the TDD board, the trust, approved of this swapping, and that swap has happened. But now let's tell you about the allegations which are coming in by the former TTD, the trust chairperson. His first charge, as you can see, this is Bhumana K. Reddy. He is the former TTD chairperson. He is also a leader currently with the YSRCP. He says that Chief Minister Naidu had conspired to surrender the temple trust land to a hotel. That land on the north side is sacred, but how is the land on the south side not sacred? He also says that you cannot use temple land, which is meant for hotels, which is going to be serving meat, which is going to be serving kebabs to all its patrons. It cannot be allowed on sacred temple land. He's also said that there is, and this is an estimate, His charge is that 1,500 crore rupees of prime land was given away with a low value land. That it was prime land, however, what was swapped in return was a low value land which was given to the temple trust. He says that it will inflict a loss of over 1,000 crore rupees on the temple trust alone, and says that the papers deliberately did not mention the land valuation, so there are no exact figures. But the allegation is that it's about 1,000 crore rupee loss. In fact, he has also pointed out that in the past too, land has been given up for charity. He continues to say, but it has never been about profits. For example, in the past, there was land which was given to the Aravind Eye Hospital, not to a proposed 5-star hotel. He also points out that the Tata Cancer Hospital also is one of the institutes which got land which was very close to the temple in the Tirumala foothill area. There's also the Ruya hospitals, also the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, which had been sent up. Now you have in the middle an Oberoi hotel which is coming up. This is the very objection which is being made, that it is land which is given to institutions for charity but not for 5-star hotels. Now, interestingly, the board in a statement has come out, denied all these allegations. Let's tell you exactly what it is that the board has said. The board has said that tourism department under YSRCP was allotted this land, that 20 acres of land was allotted to the Oberoi Hotel, but this was by the YSRCP and not by the Naidu government. It also says that it was a 2024 resolution which had decided that they are going to cancel the land allotment which was passed earlier and to ask for this land to be given back. The tourism department then agreed to give this land up on the northern side back to the temple. Instead, it was land at the south which was given then to the 5-star hotel. The department also requested an allotment on the other side. There was land which was swapped as per the resolution which was passed by the temple trust, that the decision was taken to preserve Tirumala's sanctity. Now, viewers, this is not the first time that politics has cast its ugly shadow on the sacred Tirumala Hills, but let's tell you how politically it's now down to YSRCP versus the TDP, and all of it stems from faith, from Astha. Watch this war of words.
The Oberoi group was allocated land during the tenure of Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy in 2021. But now, because of his hatred towards the state of Andhra Pradesh, he in fact is creating that fake narrative again, trying to throw away, trying to make Oberoi group also run away from the state of Andhra Pradesh. After our government came into power in 2024, a lot of deliberations have happened, all the sentiments of these religious associations, and also taking into consideration the interest of the investors. The state government of Andhra Pradesh has, under the visionary leadership of Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu, has in fact allocated them, instructed TTD, in fact requested TTD to allocate a different piece of land for them, and that has happened.
TDP coalition government is getting exposed on what could be the biggest conspiracy against the sanctity of Lord Venkateshwara's temple lands. This is just not an administrative decision, it's a calculated betrayal. At the heart of the scheme, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, the Honorable Chief Minister, and Mr. Kalyan, Deputy Chief Minister, and TTD Chairman Mr. B.R. Naidu, together, they are masterminding a plan to surrender 20 acres of priceless Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam lands. And this land is valued at 1,500 crores, and they're giving all of this to a private giant, which is Oberoi Hotels, and all of this being done under a convenient cover, so-called on land exchange. But what are we getting in return? The worthless rural tracts from the tourism department.
Well, viewers, it's not the first time that politics has cast its ugly shadow on the sacred Tirumala Hills and the temple. Let's remind you, remember the Tirupati fund row which happened in 2021, where the temple under Jagan Mohan Reddy was forced to contribute from 2.4 crore rupees, which they were giving anyways to the state coffers. They were asked to now pay 50 crore rupees because they had a lot of money, they said. Then came the Tirupati Prasadam Rao, which happened just a few months back in 2024, where you had Chief Minister Naidu alleging that there were adulterated laddus which were being given out under YSRCP regime. Of course, that case, SIT is still probing it. Nothing much has come out of it, but there was enough politics which had happened. Then came now the Tirupati land row, where you have a YSRCP leader who's accusing the TDP of trying to usurp the land of the temple, that the state is hatching a conspiracy to take away high-value land. This is the third controversy which has happened. But it seems that again, Astha is being shackled by Rajniti. Astha of millions of devotees who visit this temple to simply catch a glimpse of Lord Vishnu. For devotees, it is one of the most revered pilgrimages. Then why politicize this site of pilgrimage? Let's go across to our panelists. Today, we have on our show, we have Pattabhi Ram Kumar Reddy, who is the national spokesperson of the TDP. We also have Rahul Ishwar, an activist, joining us. Karthik Yelapragada is also joining us, the spokesperson of YSRCP. Well, first, I'm going to be coming across Mr. Kumar Reddy to you. Do you think it's right for a temple land which legitimately belonged to the temple to now be given away to a hotel which is going to be serving non-veg and kebabs, as the complainant has said? Do you think it's going to hurt the astha of the millions of devotees of Tirupati?
Meghna, good evening to you and to my fellow panelists. See, first of all, we should understand that the initial land allotment done by the YSRCP in 2021 to the same Oberoi Hotel Group is at Alipiri. Any Hindu devotee across the globe knows the sanctity of Alipiri. Alipiri is the place from where the actual pilgrimage to the abode of Lord Venkateshwara starts. That is the point at which people, start their yatra on footsteps to the top of the Tirumala Hill. That is how holy that place is. How can the previous government allot land at such a holy place called Alipiri to the Oberoi Hotel? First, they should answer to that. We are trying to correct the mistake.
But Mr. Kumar Reddy, is it true that the TDP is saying that the land to the north is sacred, but land to the south is not sacred? Is that the contention?
See, what I'm trying to say is the point at which the initial land allotment was done is right at the point of Alipiri. That is a very holy place. They have heard the sentiments of crores of Hindus across the globe. It is on the demand of various Hindu organizations and Hindu devotees and pilgrims that the Chandrababu Naidu's government, the NDA government, had acted and had tried to and had corrected the blunder committed by the YSRCP.
So the land that you've given now is not holy.
They had no faith.
The land you've given now is not holy. Mr. Kumar Reddy, is that the contention?
The land which was allotted, the land
to the south now, which has been given,
the land
is not
which
holy?
was allotted currently is quite far away from the previous land that was allotted. It was not at the footsteps of the point from where the actual pilgrimage starts. See, we all know how.
And Mr. Kumar Reddy, I asked you the three questions. The same question three times, you didn't give me an answer.
No, I gave you a straight answer. Gave you a straight answer. The land which was allotted currently is quite far away from the initial land that was allotted by the YSRCP. They have committed a blunder.
Let me take it to the YSRCP.
The YSRCP government.
Karthik Yelapragada, what the TDP is doing is correcting your wrongs. Let's listen into the YSRCP also. Karthik, TDP is correcting your wrongs, and the fact is, the person who has made the complaint
to victimize the Hindus.
They would not have answers.
Okay, we'll just come to you, but let Karthik also have a say in this. Karthik, is it true that the person who is a complainant, yes, he is the former TDP, the Temple Trust's chairperson, however, he's also a YSRCP politician. Why should we trust him?
Here, the point here, Meghna, you asked the right question. Is this not sacred? They couldn't give an answer, objective answer. You'll have to allow me a couple of minutes here. I'll lay down a chronological order of things. The point here is the land today, the allotting to Oberoi Hotels, that is a TTT-owned land. As simple as that. The land that we allotted in YSRCP's government was not TTD land. That's on record. Ask them to prove. The second point is today the distance is 2.5 kilometers what way they have provided, where the previous one was 4.5 kilometers, which was away. And again, Meghna, technically speaking, this is in urban limits. In the previous government, we gave it in the rural limits, which was in the tourism jurisdiction or in the realm. The main question today is, why are PTD lands given for a private affair where they eat chickens, kebabs, all of that, where that's a holy place? I'll admit on record, when we gave the lands, there was a huge protest and all these saints, yogis have come and we were trying to reconcile and we lost. Secondly, Meghna,
Mr. Kumar Reddy, you are muted right now. Please do listen out to what Karthik has to say. We'll come back to you. Karthik,
absolutely.
Continue.
And then 1,500 crores is what land? And I think we can't put a price to God's land because it's God's land. Why TDD, God's land, is given to private affair? Not this time, Meghna. 50 acres in TDP, in Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's turn earlier as well. They've given it. Why was GO21 issued under the barracks? Why was it rushed? I repeat it again. It's a pity for the state of Andhra Pradesh where Mr. Pawan Kalyan, who is acting to be having that saffron probe on his attire and saying all about Sanatan Dharma, where his own, the whole tourist department comes under his own Janasena's aspect. Now, where is he? He actually cleansed the temple steps. Now, where is he? The question is simple.
Well, he's formed penance also during the entire controversy of the laddus.
They come whenever they have a political benefits. Now the question is very, very, very simple and objective. TTD land is being given for private affair. That can never be given. On the other side, far away from Tirupati, a little far away, there is revenue land. This is an important point, Meghna. There is revenue land where near the airport, there were many acres. Why can't they give that?
So there is
that's a five-star hotel.
Value revenue land which has now been swapped off for low value land is the YSRCP's contention. But Rahul Ishwar, you are the only one who is actually someone who is a devout. We have two other politicians. And is that the very problem that we are having? That we have temples being administered by politicians. Each and every member who's sitting there in the Tirupati Trust is indeed being appointed, handpicked by successive governments. Is that why we have this problem today?
Absolutely, yes. I respect both parties. I know some leaders of both parties and respect to all. But as an ordinary Hindu devotee, we are pained and we feel helpless when we hear these kind of debates. Because, we don't have a stake at it. That's the reason why Justice Paripurnan Commission report, when there was a huge controversy in Sabarimala, Supreme Court constituted a 3-member bench and Justice Paripurnan, one of the great judges, was the head of it. And Justice Paripurnan gave a categorical report saying that no politician, especially no active politician belonging to any political party, should be coming for the administration of temple. All the cultural people, spiritual people, musicians, philosophers, sadhus, sons who are non-politically affiliated should be leading it. See, the point is, we will always be non-obvious, oblivious of the facts. The reason being, A party will say that it is the other party's conspiracy. The B party will say, no, it started in your time. So we as devotees are pained. We feel helpless. We don't know who to join part with. Both are very eminent people. Both, on both sides, there are very eminent, spiritually oriented people. So, I would humbly request as a devotee, nothing else, sort these things out. When Laddu thing came, people like, especially from Kerala, who goes to Tirupati, we were very pained because one of my greatest offerings was that when my son was born, I will get him a Tirupati Laddu. So it's an emotional thing for us. It might be it might be having a political context and a subtext there, but for an ordinary devotee of Tirupati Balaji across the world, millions of people, it's an emotional thing, and we feel helpless too. So I'd humbly request them to sort it out and find a solution to these things.
We cannot possibly have a better end to the show than what? You have this very heartfelt appeal coming out from Rahul Ishwar, who's saying it's all about our trust, it's about our faith, it's about emotion. Do not bring politics in. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Kumar Reddy, Rahul Ishwar, Karthik, Yellapragada as well. Pleasure to have you on the show so that we can reflect all the sides here, including the side of the devotees, the bhakts themselves. Without a short break, stay tuned.